Welcome back everybody to 31 Days of Horror, and today we're taking a look at 1956's The Mole People. So this is directed by Virgil W. Vogel, who is also well known for doing The Land Unknown the year after this was released. And it's a science fiction adventure horror film, clocking in at 77 minutes long. Stars the likes of John Agar, who was quite frankly one of the more notable actors that were in many a sci-fi B movie. So he's in lots of Tarantula, the first sequel to Creature from the Black Lagoon, Revenge of the Creature, the brain from Planet Eros, Invisible Invaders. But then some 30 years later, he would also star in the fantastic but underrated Miracle Mile. Also stars Hugh Beaumont, who was in The Seventh Victim, which I reviewed last year as part of a Criterion Collection release. And finally, Alan Napier, who I've seen in 16 other films, not necessarily all leading roles, but still a fair chunk of films there. He was in the likes of The Uninvited, Isle of the Dead, The Invisible Man Returns, The Premature Burial, and House of Horrors. So, a party of archaeologists discovers the remnants of a 5 millennia old mutant Sumerian civilization living beneath a glacier atop a mountain in Mesopotamia. Yeah, upon my first viewing of this, I quite frankly expected this to be significantly worse because it only had a budget of about $200,000, which isn't minute in comparison to some. You know, the likes of King Dinosaur had a budget of only 15,000, so you could go a lot lower for a film of this type from this period. But it is also far from great, while also paling in comparison to the director's follow-up film, The Land Unknown, which definitely has more spectacle, greater production value, and generally stronger characters. But that said, this is it's nonetheless a film that has, like I said, its issues. It's got a predictable plot, underwhelming action, and limited production value. That said, the cast is good. John Agar is always watchable, I find. The look of the mole people itself are decent. The rest of the production does look like it's been robbed from a fantasy film or something like that. But the mole people themselves look decent enough. Its first half is solidly engrossing. It has a few fun scenes. Has more violence than I expected, quite frankly, for a film from this period. This is long before head decapitations or limb decapitations and anything like that. And even though it doesn't go that extreme, it's certainly better than some other films from the same time. And I like the whole slaves overthrowing their oppressors plot point, which certainly lends it some more thematic weight than you might well be used to from a release of this type. So yeah, not great, but still not awful either. I've seen far worse from this period, but it still ultimately only gets 2.5 out of 5. Still, it is perfectly watchable, and it's hardly like I said my first time seeing this, but yeah, it's just a shame that it's not got a little bit more going for it to make it that bit better. So yeah, we have film on Blu-ray and DVD in this release, but unfortunately there are no extras whatsoever, not even any subtitles. Um, and it is in the original aspect ratio of 137 to 1. So yeah, there is that, I guess. But in terms of physical extras, we do actually get a poster with this, which is something 101 Films did a lot with these kind of, B-movie sci-fi films. So yeah, and it's nice to have. It's nothing on. It's not particularly on thick paper or anything like that. It's a nice little extra to have, and yeah, certainly helps up to make up for some of the lack of extras elsewhere on the release itself. So yeah, a decent film, but nothing spectacular. But like I said, you can do far worse. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.